The sky over Zalora burned red. The once peaceful twin-moon planet, home to the immortal Cerulean race, had never seen war, until now. Explosions lit up the shimmering crystal towers. Smoke choked the air. Buildings that had stood for thousands of years were now nothing more than burning skeletons. The war wasn't between aliens. No, the invaders were humans. They were fast, unpredictable, and terrifying. The Cerulean, tall, glowing, graceful beings, had always believed themselves above such primitive creatures. Among them stood Princess Alexa, daughter of the High Matriarch. She had lived for 2,000 years without ever knowing pain, death, or love. Now she was hiding in the shadows of her ruined palace, her silver skin streaked with ash, her glowing eyes full of confusion and fury. "They are savages," she hissed, watching from a cracked wall as a human soldier pulled his wounded comrade to safety instead of finishing off his enemies. She couldn't understand it. Humans weren't supposed to care about each other. That's what the ancient record said. They were destroyers, always hungry for power. So why did this one seem different? His name was Captain Riven Hale, a young human commander with scars on his face and fire in his soul. He had landed on Zalora not to conquer, but to protect a group of Cerulean rebels who'd begged for help. He had no idea that one of the Immortals, Alexa herself, was watching him, studying him like a predator waiting to strike. She wanted him dead. She had vowed, but something strange began happening each time she saw him from a distance. His bravery, his selflessness had made her hesitate. She hated the feeling, she hated him. And yet, her chest fluttered every time he shouted orders with that deep, rough voice. As the war spread, Riven and his team entered the ruins of the sacred archives to find medical supplies. Alexa followed quietly through hidden passageways. She could have killed him with a single plasma arrow, but didn't. Instead, she watched. That night, the human camp set up just outside the ruins. Alexa snuck closer. She saw Riven sitting by the fire, wrapping bandages around his arm, blood soaking through. He didn't cry out. He didn't complain. He just muttered something about getting everyone home alive. And that broke something inside her. Why was she hesitating? Why couldn't she strike? That question was still burning in her mind when a sudden explosion ripped through the nearby cliff. A rock slide came crashing down. She barely had time to scream before it hit her, burying her under layers of stone and crystal. Everything went black. When she woke up, she was in a human tent, wrapped in a warm blanket, wounds cleaned, and he was sitting beside her. Captain Riven Hale, sleeping, sitting, exhausted, and he had saved her life. She didn't know whether to thank him or kill him. But when he opened his eyes and looked at her, not with fear or hatred but quiet curiosity, something shifted forever. Alexa slowly sat up, every muscle in her glowing silver body aching. The warmth of the human blanket wrapped around her skin made her feel weak and confused. For a race that never felt cold or pain, the blanket was oddly comforting. She blinked. Her eyes adjusted to the soft yellow light in the tent. Strange human machines beeped around her. A warm cup of some liquid sat beside the bedroll. And there he was, Riven Hale, sitting on a crate, his jacket off, his arms bandaged, his eyes fixed on her like he was trying to figure out whether she'd scream, run, or strike. "You're awake," he said calmly. His voice was deeper than she expected, not rough, not cruel, but steady, like a river under pressure. Alexa's first instinct was to attack. She was a royal, an immortal. She had trained in blade combat for centuries, and yet her body, injured from the rock slide, refused to move. "How dare you touch me?" she whispered, her voice hoarse. Riven tilted his head. "You would have died under that rubble. I would have preferred death over this. Then why were you following me in the first place?" That silenced her. He knew she had been stalking him. The human leaned forward slowly. You've been watching us for days, haven't you? You could have killed me at least 3 times. Why didn't you? Her glowing purple eyes flickered. I don't kill insects, she spat back. Riven smirked. That's funny. Because the insect just saved your immortal life. The silence between them thickened. Only the soft hum of the camp's generator buzzed in the background. Why? She asked suddenly. Riven looked confused. Why didn't you let me die? He sighed. Because we're not monsters, even if you think we are. Alexa stared at him. No one had ever spoken to her like that before, not even her royal guards. No one dared question her. No one dared speak with such honesty. He wasn't afraid of her. He wasn't bowing. He wasn't lying. He was real. And that scared her more than anything else. She lay back down, turning her face away from him. I don't need your help. Riven stood slowly. Then get better and leave. I'm not your enemy, princess. But if you raise a weapon again, I'll treat you like one. She looked back at him. No human has ever touched a Cerulean and lived. Why aren't you afraid? He paused at the tent flap and gave the most human answer she never expected. Maybe because I see someone who's just tired of pretending she's better than everyone. Then he left. Later that night, Alexa remained in the tent alone. Her injuries were healing faster than expected, but her thoughts wouldn't stop racing. Why had she spared him during the raids? Why had he spared her now? What was this strange fire growing inside her chest when she thought of his voice, his eyes, the way he spoke to her like she wasn't a goddess? For the first time in her long immortal life, Princess Alexa felt uncertain and maybe even a little curious. The next morning, she stepped out of the tent. Every soldier turned. Blasters reached for holsters, but Riven raised a hand. Stand down. She's not a prisoner. His voice had weight, even she obeyed it without thinking. You saved me, she said out loud, facing him before everyone. So I owe you my life. Riven crossed his arms. I don't want your debt. Just your honesty. Why are the Ceruleans so angry at us? Her voice was calm but cold. Because humans bring change. And change terrifies those who think they are already perfect. He looked at her. She looked back. And in that moment, a silent spark passed between them, 2 enemies, 2 worlds. And something was about to shift forever. Alexa stood still, her glowing silver hair moving slightly with the breeze. Behind her, the human camp buzzed with activity. Soldiers preparing scanners, repairing hovercrafts, treating their wounded. They were efficient, loud, and emotional. So unlike her people, and yet she didn't hate it, not anymore. She kept watching Riven hail, the human commander who had saved her from death. He gave orders with strength, not arrogance. He laughed with his men. He didn't pretend to be a god. That confused her the most. But, far above them, high in the floating crystal fortress of Elazar, the Cerulean Council was not confused. They were furious. A message came down through secret Cerulean channels, reaching Alexa's personal communicator, a tiny glowing disk embedded in her palm. She stepped into the shadows to read it. You have been seen walking freely among the humans. This is unacceptable. Return to the fortress, or we will assume you've turned traitor. She clenched her hand until the disk went dim. Her own people doubted her. She should have expected this. The Cerulean had ruled their world for thousands of years through order, control, and fear. But now they were afraid of one thing, a human. Specifically, Riven. They believed his presence had weakened Alexa's judgment, that he was using his lesser emotions to poison her immortal mind. So, without asking her permission, they sent an assassin, a Cerulean deathbringer. His name was Valmar, and he had once trained Alexa herself in silent killing. And now, his mission was clear. Kill the human commander. Bring Alexa home. Or kill her too. That night, Alexa was walking the edge of the human camp. Her injuries mostly healed. The stars above were brighter than usual, and she could hear soft music playing near the soldiers' tents. She turned when she felt it, a shift in the air, too quiet, too perfect. "Valmar," she whispered, and there he was, like a shadow stepping out of mist. "You've been infected, princess," he said coldly. "You walk among dirt bloods and speak as if they're equals." Her fists clenched. "They saved my life. Riven saved my life. Then he must die for weakening you." She raised her hand. "You'll have to go through me." Valmar didn't hesitate. He moved like lightning, drawing a blade of pure energy. But so did she. Blades clashed in the moonlight. Sparks flew. Human soldiers nearby heard the noise and ran, but couldn't follow what was happening. The Saralin moved too fast, too fluid. Riven arrived just in time to see Alexa holding off Valmar with all her strength. She fought like a goddess, but Valmar was stronger. He knocked her down and lunged for Riven, blade aimed for his chest, and at the last second, Alexa screamed, "No!" She jumped between them. The blade slashed across her side, glowing blood spilling as she fell into Riven's arms. Valmar vanished into the night. Mission incomplete. For now. Riven held her tightly. "Alexa, stay with me." Her voice was weak, trembling. "They want you dead, because I hesitated, because I'm changing." His eyes searched hers. "Why would they care so much about me?" "Because," she whispered, her silver eyes locking onto his, "because I think I want something they can never allow." He looked confused. "What?" But she fainted in his arms before answering. Pain. That was the first thing Alexa felt. Real pain, not just a sensation, but something that went deep, like fire in her bones. She had never known such a feeling before. The Saralin were not meant to bleed. Not like this. Their bodies healed. Their minds stayed calm and their lives went on for thousands of years without change. But now, she was weak, because she had taken a Saralin blade meant for a human. She opened her eyes slowly. The human camp was quiet. The tent lights were soft, and Riven sat beside her once again, his head lowered, his hands tightly holding hers. "You're awake," he said quietly, noticing her breathing change. "Still alive?" she asked, her voice dry. "Barely," he replied. "You lost too much blood. Your body isn't healing the way it should. I think something changed." She already knew. "I broke the bond," she whispered. Riven frowned. "What bond?" "The one that connects me to the source. It's what makes the Saralin immortal. We call it the Alera. It flows through our blood, through our minds, like a second soul. And now, I blocked it when I protected you. It severed." Riven looked at her with confusion and something else. "Fear. You mean you're not immortal anymore?" Alexa nodded. "I chose mortality." Riven was silent for a long time. Then he spoke softly. "For me?" She didn't answer with words, but her eyes did. It wasn't just because of him. It was what he represented. Emotion. Free will. Life that ended, and meant something because it ended. Alexa had watched thousands of years go by without ever feeling alive, until now. Until this foolish, stubborn human soldier walked into her perfect cold world and made her burn. He leaned forward. "I didn't ask you to give that up," he said gently. "I know," she replied. "But I wanted to." Outside, the tent, human soldiers whispered. "She took a blade for him?" "She's one of them, isn't she? Why is he protecting her now?" But Riven ignored them. He stayed by her side, gave her water, rebandaged the wound, and held her hand through the night. Even though his people didn't trust her, even though her own people had turned against her. They were alone in the middle of two worlds. But somehow, they weren't lonely. By morning, Alexa was strong enough to sit up. Her skin had lost some of its glow. Her hair looked less silver and more human. Her body was changing fast. She would never live another 1,000 years. She might not even live another 100. And yet, her heart felt free. Riven brought her outside. The morning sun touched her skin, and for the first time ever, it felt warm. Real. She looked at him. Your world must be strange. He chuckled. It is dirty, loud, imperfect, but beautiful in its own way. I want to see it. He blinked. What? I want to go to Earth. With you. He looked stunned. Are you serious? My old life is gone. My own people tried to kill me. And I've tasted something new. Something I never knew existed. He stepped closer. And what's that? She smiled, placing his hand gently on her chest. Fear, pain, time, love. He swallowed. Alexa, if you come with me, your people will never stop hunting you. I know. And life on Earth won't be easy. They'll judge you for who you were. I'm not who I was. He looked into her eyes, now softer, warmer, no longer shining like cold stars, and she said the words she never thought she'd say. I choose this life. With you. The sound came first, like thunder rolling across glass. Then the sky above the human camp turned blue-black, swirling like a storm. A sharp beam of light cut down through the clouds and struck the earth. The Saralin had arrived. Not just one assassin this time. A full purge squad. Alexa's people were here. For her. And they had only one order from the council. Destroy the human base. Capture Alexa alive. Kill everyone else. Inside the command tent, red alerts blared. Screens flashed warnings. They dropped a Saralin warship into orbit, shouted Sergeant Miko. We're being scanned. Defensive shields up, Riven barked. Get the wounded on the transports. Outside, Alexa stood watching the sky, her heart pounding. Her body, now mortal, shivered in the cold air. They were coming for her. She could feel their energy, calm, deadly, emotionless. Her old life wanted to erase her. Riven, she shouted. We have to leave now. But he was still trying to coordinate the base's evacuation. They'll blast this whole camp to ashes, she warned. Riven turned to her, face tight with urgency. Where's the nearest jump ship? She pointed toward the mountain ridge. There's an old Saralin skimmer in the caves it can cloak. I used it to observe your kind. Can you fly it? I helped design it. Riven gave her a hard look. Then we run now, together. Chaos erupted. Blue energy beams rained from above, slicing through metal and dirt. Human soldiers scrambled, returning fire with railguns and plasma cannons, but the Saralin didn't fight like normal enemies. They floated, silent, precise, emotionless. One by one, humans were cut down by curved silver blades and glowing spheres of energy. Riven pulled Alexa through the smoke and debris, shielding her body with his own. They dodged falling towers, leapt over rubble, and made it to the caves. Inside the stone chamber, the alien ship glowed faintly like a sleeping dragon. Alexa touched the side. It opened with a soft hiss, recognizing her DNA. Even in her changed form, they climbed in. She activated the controls, hands shaking slightly. You okay? Riven asked. I don't know what I am anymore, she whispered. But I know what I want, and I'm not leaving you behind. He sat beside her. Then, let's go home. The Saralin ships detected movement, target locked, preparing to fire, one of the Saralin hunters said coldly. But just as their cannons charged, the skimmer vanished. Gone. Cloaked. The ship blinked out of visual and sensor range, diving beneath the ground, flying fast through secret tunnels, toward the atmosphere edge. They had escaped, for now. Inside the ship, Alexa leaned back in the pilot's seat, breathing hard. She had betrayed her people, given up her immortality. And now, was running away with a human. She looked at Riven, who sat silently beside her, checking a glowing data pad. He looked calm, but she could see the tension in his jaw. "They won't stop," she said softly. "I don't care. They'll track us. Earth won't be safe. Then we keep moving." She turned toward him. "I chose to leave that life behind," she said. "But there's one more choice I have to make." He looked at her. "What?" She took his hand, placed it on her stomach. "I want to create something new, something the Saralin have never allowed." His eyes widened. "You mean?" She nodded. "I want to have a child. With you." The ship emerged from the edge of deep space and began descending toward Earth. Below, the blue planet sparkled like a jewel, alive, chaotic, beautiful. Alexa had never seen it before. For all her long life, she believed humans were wild, short-lived creatures. But now, this place would be her home. She looked down at her stomach. It didn't show yet, but she could feel it. Something new, something strange growing inside her. Something impossible. A child that carried the blood of two worlds. A child that should not exist. They landed in a secure military base hidden in the Alaskan mountains. The humans there were shocked to see Commander Riven Hale alive, but more shocked to see him holding hands with a Saralin. And when Alexa told them she was carrying a child, the room fell silent. A general finally spoke. "That's, biologically, impossible. The Saralin don't reproduce like humans. Your kind is cloned from energy." Alexa nodded. "Yes, but I'm no longer fully Saralin." Her voice trembled. "The immortality link is gone. My body is changing, adapting." "And your child?" Riven asked. "I don't know what it will be, but it will be alive, and it will be both of us." The humans didn't cheer. They didn't smile. They were scared, and Alexa felt it. She turned to Riven in private later that night. "They don't want me here. They're just afraid of what they don't understand," he replied. "And my people will hunt us the moment they learn I'm pregnant." Riven stood in front of her, placing both hands on her shoulders. "Then we protect it. We protect you. I don't care who we have to fight." Alexa looked into his eyes. "Are you really ready for this? To raise something that may be hated by both sides?" He didn't flinch. "I'd die for you, and I'll live for this child." Her chest tightened. She had once hated him. Now, she couldn't imagine life without him. But deep in the darkness of space, news had already spread. The Saralin Council intercepted a rogue transmission confirming Alexa's pregnancy. The Supreme Matriarch's eyes widened. "She carries a hybrid?" One of the council members nodded. "Yes, and it will destroy the purity of our race if that child lives, and it changes everything." They sent a signal across the stars. "Send the Blacklight Division, destroy the Earth base, bring the child, or destroy it." Back on Earth, Alexa began experiencing strange symptoms. Her body fluctuated between glowing silver and pale human pink. Her strength rose and fell. Her heartbeat was uneven. Doctors ran tests. Scientists studied her. None had ever seen anything like it. "It's not just a child," one whispered. "It's evolution." Riven stayed at her side through it all, held her hand, wiped her sweat, talked to her when the pain made her cry out. "You're not alone," he whispered again and again. And one night, as the stars above Earth shimmered, she fell asleep in his arms. But far above, just outside the solar system, a black fleet was on its way. No communication, no warning, only one mission: kill the hybrid, erase the mistake, leave no survivors. The sky over Earth turned dark, but not from clouds, from ships. Saralin Blacklight Division, the most feared force in their empire, hovered above Earth, silent and deadly. No warning, no communication, just one mission: destroy the child. Inside the mountain base, alarms screamed. Soldiers ran through the halls, and in the medbay, Alexa stood with her hands gently over her belly, her eyes glowing weakly. "They're here," she whispered. Riven was already strapping on his armor. "We'll stop them." "You don't understand," she said softly. "These aren't warriors. They're executioners." He placed both hands on her cheeks. "Then they'll learn what happens when they try to harm my family." Her eyes watered. "Your family." Riven smiled. "You, and our child. That's all that matters now." The battle began before dawn. Massive Cerulean ships rained fire on Earth's defenses. Human jets tried to fight back, but their weapons barely scratched the alien shields. Then the blacklight foot soldiers descended, tall, faceless, emotionless. Their armor shimmered with shadow energy. They moved like ghosts, but Riven met them head-on, with fire in his eyes, and Alexa beside him. Though weak, she stood tall in armor laced with human tech. She channeled what little remained of her Cerulean power, just enough to form a protective barrier around them. As they fought, the Blacklight commander, a being called Zurian, stepped forward. "You are a disgrace to your race," he told Alexa coldly. "I am no longer yours to control," she replied. He raised his hand toward her womb. "The child is a threat." Riven raised his gun. "And you're a mistake." With one clean shot, Riven fired into Zurian's chest, breaking through his barrier. The Cerulean commander fell, but dozens more stepped forward. "We can't win this," Alexa said, panting. "Then we buy time," Riven growled. "Enough for the transport." Behind them, a special escape shuttle waited on standby, set to launch Alexa and their unborn child into deep space to a hidden Earth colony. "Come with me," she begged. Riven shook his head. "If I go, they'll track us, but if I stay—" "No," she cried, grabbing his arm. He kissed her forehead. "I'd rather die buying your future than live knowing I ran from it." Tears fell from her eyes. "I love you, Riven." He smiled. "I know." With her heart breaking, Alexa entered the escape shuttle. The engines lit up. The countdown began. Outside, Riven stood alone against a wall of shadows, and as the shuttle soared into the sky, he faced them with one last smirk. "For my family," he whispered, and charged into the fight. The Cerulean Council never reported the outcome, but rumors spread across the stars that a powerful warrior died protecting a glowing woman, that a half-human, half-Cerulean child was born in secret, and would one day bring balance between two worlds and far away on a peaceful colony world. Alexa stood holding a newborn child with soft silver eyes and human warmth. She looked to the sky. "Your father saved everything," she whispered, "and one day you'll finish what he started."